It doesn't matter how insignificant some people say a car is. We love a quality restoration. Doesn't matter if it's a multi-million-dollar 50s and 60s European sports racing car or a humble economy icon. Quality is what matters. So these cars were conceived of in the late 30s on a national effort and designed by Ferdinand Porsche, with the idea being that they were reliable, that they were efficient, and that they were easy to work on. After the war comes to an end and Europe's getting back on their feet, that's when the production really started to boom in these cars. More and more working class people were able to buy cars, and that's where the Volkswagen Beetle really took off. By the time the late 50s and 60s rolled around, this car was a cultural icon, very recognizable. And into the 60s and 70s, with some great advertising, these cars gained a ton of steam. Ultimately, at one point being the most produced car on the planet, with over 21 million of these things produced. So obviously, if we're going to have a car like this in the showroom, one of the most produced cars in the world, it has to be special. What's special about this car is the quality of the restoration. For starters, not many people are doing full-bore rotisserie restorations on these cars, and even fewer people are doing them to this quality with an initial example that was so optioned out. So we'll just take the time to appreciate the quality of the paint, the quality of the chrome. I mean, obviously this car is far over restored from how it left the factory in '54, and you open it up, and you see the MO, just how simple these cars are. With them being so simple, that meant they were able to be so light. These cars were 1,700 pounds. So you look under the hood here, beautiful, overly restored fuel tank. You've got the spare tire, and that's pretty much it under the hood. So as soon as you step into the car, you realize this car is definitely over restored compared to how these cars left the factory in '54. Beautiful interior. Super comfortable seat here. And in my opinion, probably the coolest features on these cars are the turn signals. So this car has the factory, the 3 folding sliding ragtop. Again, beautifully restored here. Pretty cool to be able to pull the top down on one of these things. And with this car here, you've got 2 gauges. Obviously you've got your speedometer, but the big option was the benzene fuel gauge. I'm gonna show you how much fuel you have left here. If you didn't have one of these, you had to run this thing real old school with the fuel dipstick. Another option that was available on these cars, and is certainly on this car that's well optioned out, are the vent window deflectors. I think giving these cars a great look. These cars in '54, they didn't have a synchro in first gear. Obviously not a big deal in the time, but by today's standards, it's obviously a lot nicer to have the upgraded transmission that's in this car, the synchronized freeway flyer. So along with the upgraded engine, the upgraded tranny, we've got an upgraded 12-volt system in this car. Again, really just making this car more drivable, more reliable, ultimately more fun. So we'll open up the engine bay here. This car, they also upgraded the rear suspension, independent rear suspension. Again, making the car far more user-friendly and a little bit more comfortable. So you look in the engine compartment here. Again, I don't think there's many 50s Volkswagen Beetles with an engine compartment of this quality. Initially, these cars were the 1.2 liter, the 1200 cc, right around 30 horsepower. So again, in the spirit of keeping this thing correct, they gave it a later engine, the bigger 1600 cc dual port, essentially doubling the horsepower, probably around 60 horsepower. And if you're thinking that's not a lot of horsepower, you always have to keep in mind with this car is how light it is. 1,700 pounds and change. All of a sudden your power to weight ratio becomes a lot better. And then again, looking at the engine bay here, you could see how easy to work on these cars were. You know, you got to remember from the 30s to the 60s, guys were really working on their own cars. And these cars were certainly very accessible. And then of course the view from the back here is pretty iconic. The oval window there. This car's got the louvers. I think that's a great look. So now we've got to ask ourselves the question, Do you need a car like this? Well, for a large period of history, this was the most practical car to own. A lot of people did need a car like this. But in 2026, no, you don't need a car like this. But do you want a car like this? Well, if you want a cultural icon that is over-restored to the point where it makes no more practical sense, yeah, this is a cool car. You want a car just like this one.